Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale and I'm owner of Off the Beaded Path located in Forest City, North Carolina. So ever since July or August, one of the biggest requests that I have gotten is to please make a necklace to match the Montee pearl bracelet, because that is one of the most favorite videos that I have ever done. So it's taken me a while, but I have finally done it, and I'm going to do two versions. Okay, the first one, which I'm going to do a video for this one today, is on a V-shaped necklace. Okay, so it's going to come down to a point in the center. Now this one is really, really pretty. Okay, and the good thing about this one, if you want to really dress it up, you can really dress it up. Or if you do it in, you know, other things such as not using pearls and using like gemstone beads, you know, or glass beads, you can really dress it down and wear it with like blue jeans and a v-neck t-shirt or something like that. The second version that I'm going to do is more of a collar style. Okay, it's a completely rounded style, and that one is actually going to be a PDF pattern that's going to be for sale sometime next week on our Etsy site. So Sammy will put the link to our Etsy site somewhere here in the video so that you can see that. For the video today, you are going to need 6mm pearls. Now, I will have Sammy list at the end of the video exactly how many I used for this project, and I'll have him list the length that I made of the necklace. But basically what I did is I pulled two 16-inch strands off the wall to use. You're going to need Montees 3.9mm. I took out a small loan at the bank to invest in these Montees because I know you guys are going to go crazy for these. So there's plenty, again, listed on our Etsy site, so be sure and check that out because I restocked those yesterday. But you're going to need, I've used 2 packs. I've done 3 of these necklaces so far. The first one that I made, I used a complete 2 packs. And then the second 2 that I've made to actually fit myself, I've used 1 pack and a little bit of another because I wear mine about 15.5 to 16 inches. So you'll definitely need Montees. You're going to need a size 11 seed bead to go with your Montees. And then besides that, you're going to need clasps, whatever kind of clasp you want. You need wire protectors. They're not necessary, but that is what I like to use. And those, again, can be found on our Etsy site. And then you're going to need 2 needles. I'm using size 10 beading needles. And then you're going to need Fireline. Do not go below a 6-pound Fireline. If you go below a 6 pound, it's going to be very flimsy, and your Fireline's not going to be able to hold the weight of this necklace. So you'll want to use like a 6, an 8, or a 10 pound. I'm going to be using an 8 pound in the video today. But besides that, we should be good to go. So like I said, be sure and watch the end of the video so you can see the exact counts that I used today. But I think you guys are absolutely going to love this project. I'm going to show you a sample when I first get started of one that I made using cocoa pearls with 3.9mm Pacific Opal Montees, and that it is gorgeous. Like, it's so ready to wear to the beach or to, you know, like a fun luau party or something like that. So get your materials together and we'll get started. Here's the necklace that I'm going to be teaching you how to do today. And as you can see, it is very much like the pearl Montee bracelet. It just comes down to a point here in the center. And like I said, this is one of my absolute new favorite pieces to wear. And the colors on this thing are just absolutely amazing when you actually get it finished. This one here is the cocoa 6mm pearls with a matte cream seed bead and the Pacific Opal 3.9mm Montees. So this one is really pretty. I've done 2 others, but I've already given them away as gifts, or I'd be happy to show you those. Today I'm going to be using white pearls with fuchsia Montees. So what we need to do is you actually want to go ahead and put a needle onto each end of about a 2-yard piece of thread. If you feel more comfortable using more, use more. Okay, needle on each end. First thing I'm going to do is starts out just like the pearl Montee bracelet. I'm going to pick up 3 pearls with 1 needle, and I'm going to let those drop. Does not matter which needle, whether you're left-handed or you're right-handed. I'm going to pick up 1 pearl on 1 needle. I'm going to slide it down off the needle just a little bit, and I'm going to cross opposite ways through that 1 bead. Now when I do that, I'm going to put my 2 needles together just like this, and I'm going to pull, hold on to the pearl I just put on, and I'm going to pull that pearl. So that way my thread goes down to the center, and I now have my first loop of the necklace. Now this loop here, I actually do this in 2 different sections. So that loop there is actually going to be the center loop here, and you're going to work this whole side length of the necklace. So to do that, what we're going to do is we want to pick up 1 pearl onto each needle. Let those drop, and then I'm going to pick up 1 pearl on 1 needle, and I'm going to cross my needles opposite ways through that 1 pearl. Now when I do it this time, I can just pull the needles opposite ways and have my pearl loop there. So again, continue. We're going to continue doing this. So I'm going to have a pearl on each needle, and then I'm going to pick up 1 pearl, and I'm going to cross the needles opposite ways through the 1 pearl. And one more time, we want 1 pearl onto each needle. Then I'm going to pick up 1 pearl, and I'm going to cross my needles opposite ways through that 1 pearl. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. You want to continue, like I said, this is going to be your center here, so you want to continue the length of the necklace for one side. I'm going to be doing 24 boxes for one side. So continue on, 1 pearl on each needle, and then pick up 1 pearl and cross opposite ways through that needle. Okay, so right now I have 23 circles here in my first side, and I'm ready to finish the 24th. But now what I want to do, I've come down this whole side, and what I'm ready to do now is work back up this side. So whether you're left-handed or right-handed, it does not matter. If I say pick it up on the right hand, you're going to do it on the left, okay? You're just going to do the opposite. So I'm right-handed, so I want to work back up this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using my left-hand thread, and I'm going to pick up 2 pearls. Okay, so if you're left-handed, do this on the right. There's my 2 pearls here on this one. Okay, this right-hand needle, I'm going to pick up 1 pearl. Okay, so 2 on the left, 1 on the right. Now I'm going to take the pearl that's on my right, and I'm going to cross my needles opposite ways through the one that is on my right. So that when I pull, now my thread is coming out on the sides here. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see it a little better. See, my thread is coming out here and here of the side pearl. If you're left-handed and you did it on the left, yours will be coming out to the left here. So now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it to where I'm working up this way now. And you want 1 pearl onto each needle, and then you're going to pick up 1 pearl on 1 needle, and we're going to cross opposite ways through that 1 pearl to make our circle. And I'm going to do the same thing, 1 pearl onto each needle, pick up 1 pearl onto 1 needle, and cross opposite ways through it. So that when I pull, now I have my next circle. So I come down this way all the way down, had 23 circles. This one was my 24th. So now I'm going to work up this side here. Consider this your 24, so you're going to work 23 up the side, doing exactly like we've been doing. One purl onto each needle. Then you let those fall. You pick up one purl onto one needle, and you're going to cross your needles opposite ways through that one purl. So continue adding your pearls until you've got equal boxes on each side. This is what your necklace should look like once you have both sides the same length. And I have just a little bit of thread left here on the end, so I'm going to go ahead and attach my clasp to this side so that I don't have to worry about it. So what I'm going to do is you're going to need your size 11 seed beads at this point. And I am sorry if you hear my little dog barking in the background. He is outside and I have no idea what he's barking at. But I'm going to take and pick up 5 size 11 seed beads. And I am using a galvanized pink for this seed bead. And what you want to be sure when you buy galvanized seed beads, make sure they have the Duracoat finish on them, so that way the galvanized finish doesn't rub off. I'm going to thread on a wire protector. After the 5 seed beads, I've got my wire protector. I'm going to go up one side of the wire protector and down the other side of the wire protector. Just like that. I'm going to thread on part of my clasp. I always like to start out with the largest part of the clasp first. I really don't know why. I guess it's just the OCD in me. But here is my clasp. It's up inside of the wire protector. Now I'm going to hold the clasp and I'm going to pull the thread straight down from the wire protector. And I'm going to go through the first, or that 5th seed bead. It'll be the one closest to the wire protector. We go down through just that one seed bead and pull. Ow. I'm going to take the needle off the other end so I can kind of keep that side tight. So I have the 5 seed beads, the wire protector. I've gone back down through the first seed bead. Now I'm going to pick up 4 more seed beads. And I started the clasp on this side here. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come back through this way to make a circle around the bead so that when I pull, my clasp is attached around the bead. At this point, we need to go through and reinforce. So I'm going to go up through all 5 seeds again. I'm going to go up one side of the wire protector, through the clasp, and down through the wire protector and that 5th seed bead. Now, when you go back down through the wire protector, watch, and I'm going to try and zoom in here a little better so you can see. Be careful where your thread goes here at your wire protector. Make sure the thread goes in the groove for the wire protector. And see, like what just happened with me is my needle was too big to stick back through the wire protector again, so it popped out. So let me get my needle threaded back on, and that's always a possibility. You just want to be very careful going through that wire protector so that it doesn't do that. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to go through the seed bead here and see if I can get it to work right this time. Go through it very slowly. There we go. Okay. Now, when I pull, make sure the thread goes around the wire protector. If you get all the way down through here and you've tied it off and you realize that thread did not go in the wire protector, there's no way to fix it except for to cut it apart and redo it. Okay, so I've come down out of that 5th seed bead there. So I'm going to come through the 4 on the other side and then through the purl again. And make sure not to get the clasp caught, so that when you finish the clasp, it's going to look just like that. Now, if you can go through the wire protector again, go ahead and reinforce and do that. The wire protector is really good about not letting the clasp rub up against the thread. So normally 2 to 3 times is good. If you want to go through it more, by all means go through it more. Now I'm going to go ahead, me personally, I'm going to go ahead and tie this thread off. So I'm going to take this needle here and I'm going to stitch it around to this side. So I'm going to come through this purl, and then this purl. So the 3 purls from my last box that I did. So 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie those 2 threads together. I'm going to put a couple of really, really good knots in here. Okay, once I put a couple of knots in there, I'm going to stitch both threads to somewhere else in the piece, and I'm going to tie some knots again. It's always better to be safe than sorry when it comes to your beadwork, because it is a pain to have to take it apart and redo it, and it's just not fun for everybody involved. So I've stitched them separately to different places, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tie a couple of good knots again. Now once I've tied those knots, I never, ever, ever, ever tie my thread off, or I never cut the thread, excuse me, right at a knot. So I'm going to go ahead, and my needles have come off because my thread's getting short. So I'm going to go ahead and put my needles back on. And I'm going to stitch through a couple of beads with each needle. And then I'll take the needles off, trim both threads, so that now that end of the necklace is finished. So when you get to this point, you're going to have your complete base done. The only thing that we need to go back and do is we need to go back and add our Montees over the top of it. So you want to pour out your Montees, and you're going to need your seed beads, and I'm going to be putting needles onto each end of another 2-yard piece of Fireline. And this is the funnest part of the project for me. A lot of people, one of the biggest questions I get on how to add thread when you're doing a double needle technique like we're doing here today. I tie off my thread exactly like I just showed you how I tied it through there. I tied it off, and then to add thread, it's fantastic when you're doing right angle weave with 2 needles, and I'll show you why. I've got my needle on each end here, and I'm going to take one needle, and I'm going to come through the very end purl there next to the clasp that we just added. Okay, I'm going to run it right through. I'm going to put both of my needles together, and I'm going to pull that thread until it's centered right there in that first purl. Now my thread has been added, and I am ready to start working on my project and start adding those Montees. So we will pick up 3 seed beads onto each needle. If you want to do more, you can do more, but I'm going to be doing 3. So 3 seed beads onto each needle. I'm going to pick up my Montee, Remember, the Montee has 2 holes in the back in an X shape. You want your Montee to be face up like this when you actually pull the thread. So what I do is I stick the needle through one side of the Montee, and I hold the Montee with the color still facing upward, and then I use my other needle and go through the other side, so that way when on the back, when I go through, I've crossed through it, and my needles are making that X shape through the Montee. So that way when I actually pull the thread, the Montee will always be face up, just like that. So I'm going to thread 3 more seed beads onto each needle. And this time, just like the Montee pearl bracelet, I'm going to cross through the very next pearl here in the center. We're not working with any of the outside pearls, just those center pearls. So I'm going to cross through one way, and I keep my finger, like I kind of hold it nice and tight here as I work. So that when you pull them opposite ways, now you have your first embellishment over your pearls. So we're going to continue this all the way down to the center. So we're going to pick up our 3 seeds onto each needle. Let those drop. I'm going to pick up my Montee. Again, I'm going to thread through one hole with one needle. Pull that through just a little, and then I'm going to take the other needle. I'm going to go through the other hole so that it's making the X shape through the Montee, and pull. So then 3 seed beads onto each needle. And then cross through the very next pearl here in the center. So pull that one through. Take the other needle and pull that one through. And you're going to continue adding your embellishments all the way to the center. I've worked all the way down one side, and I'm to the center of my necklace. And just like we did on this side, or when we did the base, we have to get in position so that we can start up to that side. So right now, our threads are coming out opposite sides of this little end pearl here. So what I need to do is I'm going to take this bottom thread, and I'm going to stitch through this pearl, this pearl, and this pearl. So I'm going to take the bottom thread, and I'm going to see if I can zoom in just a little bit here so you can see a little better. Thread coming out here to the bottom. I'm going to go through this pearl, this middle pearl here, and then this top pearl. Now my other thread, the thread that's still coming out of the original pearl, will just go straight through the top pearl. So I'm just going to go straight that way. So that when you do that, now you have a thread coming out of each side of this top pearl. So now you're ready to work up the other side, adding your embellishments. So we're going to pick up 3 seed beads on each needle. Need another pack of Fireline. I'm just not on it today here. I'm going to pick up my Montee and cross through it. And then 3 seeds on each needle. And I'm going to cross through that next center pearl here. And now I'm going to work up this whole other side doing my embellishments just as I did them down this side. When you get to the other end, you'll have an unfinished side. Remember, on the other end, we had put the lobster claw or whatever type of clasp you want to use. So now we're ready to finish off this side. So same as I did on the other side, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up 5 seed beads. I'm going to pick up 1 part of my wire protector. I'm going to go down the other side of the wire protector. Now, if you're using a lobster claw, you'll need a ring to go on this side. I'm actually going to use a smaller ring, but I'm going to use a jump ring because I'm going to attach some extender chain to mine when I get to the shop. I don't have any with me right now, so I'm going to do an extender chain. So I'm going to use this jump ring so I can attach the chain when I get to the store. But I've got my chain or whatever you're going to use for the other end. And then I'm going to go down through the 5th seed bead, the one closest there to the Montee, or I'm sorry, the wire protector. My words are starting to get messed up. So that way you have that connection there. And then I'm going to pick up 4 more seed beads just as I did on the other side. I'm going to take the needle. My thread was coming out of this side. So I'm going to take the needle and come back going through that same direction so that way when I pull, my little loop goes above the pearl. Now I'm going to go ahead and reinforce by going up through all 5 of the seed beads. Through one side of my wire protector. I'm going to go through, I've already did through my loop here. So then I'm going to go down through the other side of the wire protector and through that 5th seed bead. And remember, when you pull through, make sure the thread goes in the tracks there of your wire protector. I'm going to go down through the 4 beads here on this side. Pull that on through, making sure not to get your thread caught. And then I'm going to go back through the pearl again. Now, if you have enough room in your wire protector, you can reinforce some more, but I do not. So I'm going to take this thread here that I'm using, and I'm going to come through this pearl, and this pearl, so that I can tie the 2 threads off. Take those 2 threads, tie them into a couple of good knots. And then what I'll do is I'll stitch through a few more beads and tie that off again so that when I finish, this will be my finished necklace. And I love how this pink turned out. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, and I hope that you learned a great new technique and a fun new piece to add to your jewelry box. Now, I'll be the first to admit, this is probably not a piece that you want to make to try and sell a bunch of. This is one of those pieces that you make for yourself or you make for a gift, but I just had so many requests for it, I wanted to let you guys have a great version to make and wear. So I hope you guys have a blessed week, and I'll see you again next week for another great beading project. Bye-bye!